welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be going through my current shelfie. What are the books that I'm reading? I've talked about this on my channel on multiple occasions. I've gone through other book reviews because I am an avid reader. I think leaders are readers, and everyone should be reading something at all times. And if you don't like to read, then there's Audible for that, and I've talked about that as well. I will put a link down below. But we're going to talk about my current books that I have in rotation at this time. So I'm going to get started with the first one, and it is something that I've read before, perused through before, called The Compound Effect by Daryl Hardy. Now, if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, or you're in my free accountability community group on Facebook, which if you're not, by the way, then you need to be, because I'm in there all the time, you have probably heard me say consistency compounds. And what that means is if you do a little bit at a time and you're consistent with those little bits will end up becoming something really big. And I get that idea from this book by Darren Hardy. The Compound Effect, his claim is that you can jumpstart your income, your life, and your success. And I truly believe that. It's a pretty easy read. As you can see, it's like a smaller book, and it's not very long. And I love that he talks about just kind of real life application stuff that you can do. He uses really great analogies. He goes through things like the ripple effect and what that looks like in your life. So I definitely recommend this. All of the links to the books that I'm talking about will be in the description box below, by the way. The next book is called Influence. It's by Dr. Robert Cialdini, and I read this in college, actually, when I was a marketing major, and I read it in college, and I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now, because I was like 18. So I don't think it was in my sphere of not like knowing what I wanted to do when I got older. So yeah, I read it. I did whatever it is I need to do, the assignments and all that stuff, but now I'm looking at it from a completely different perspective, and basically it just talks about the psychology of persuasion and how you use persuasion in marketing. And I really like that because when you have your own business like I do, and you're growing, your own brand, so much of it does require knowing psychology. And I wasn't a psych major, but I do need to know the psychology behind my ideal target market and my consumers and my clients and things like that. And so this book has really been helpful. I really like it. It's taking me a long time to go through it because, it's a little heftier and kind of some things that I have to think about, but I do really, really appreciate it. He uses really great stories as well. So the next book is like my secret weapon. Now, I get asked all the time, at least 3 times a week, what books I recommend, and I never recommend this one because it's like my hidden gem and I don't want to share it. But I'm going to share it with you because I love you that much. So for the first time ever, I'm making it public knowledge that this book is life-changing. It's called The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. And it's not woo-woo-ish. So and I know that the title can kind of throw you off, like the dynamic laws of prosperity, because we hear so many things about prosperity and like the prosperity gospel and things like that. And so it can kind of throw people off. And, the cover is not all that attractive. And I think she does it on purpose. But inside, I'm talking golden nuggets galore. I have this book in print. I have it on my Audible as an audiobook, and I have it on my Kindle. That's how much I love this book. The only other book that I have like that is my Bible. That's it. So I'm not comparing this to the Bible. I'm just saying that obviously I keep my Bible in many forms. This book, I appreciate it so much that I decided that I was going to get this in many forms as well. And I've probably gone through it in the different forms probably a total of 4 times in the last, I would say, 3 months, because there's just so much in here, and you realize so much about yourself. So anyway, so that was a huge ramble about this book, but it's great. Link is down below. That book will change your life. Okay, next I'm going to go through the books that I have been listening to in Audible, and then the ones that I've been reading on Kindle. So the first book that I've been listening to kind of on and off is by Gabby Bernstein, called The Universe Has Your Back. And I like, her voice is really soothing. Like in audible form, it's like really soothing. And she tells really great stories. So of course I believe in God. She uses the universe. So I just put God inside of that instead of the universe. But I really do like a lot of the concepts that she talks about. And so that's one that I've been listening to. What else do we have here? I've also been listening to Okay, so I've listened to this before and I haven't been listening to it lately, but Tapping into Wealth by Margaret Lynch. When I launch, like when I'm launching something, I'm always tapping. And that is like one of the books that I highly recommend. So Tapping into Wealth by Margaret Lynch is another one. If you don't know what tapping is or EFT is, it's using specific points on your body to tap into them and then kind of release fears, blockages that you're kind of struggling with, like negative beliefs, negative thoughts, things like that. So you're tapping on like different points of your body here, like the top of your head, to get over that. And it sounds really weird, but I'm telling you, tapping works. Okay, so those are the two that I have, that I've been listening to on my Audible. And then in Kindle, let me see. I don't feel like I have anything in Kindle, but let's just take a perusal. Reading inside of my Kindle is called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, How We Can Learn to Fulfill Our Potential in Parenting, Business, School, and Relationships by Dr. Carol Dweck. And I'm just kind of sort of in it, like I just started not too long ago. I'm literally only like 12% into the book. But basically it's exactly what it sounds like. It's about mindset, and I'm a huge mindset person. I think that if you change your mind, you can change your life. Because the reason why you're not seeing what you want to see is because your perception of reality is skewed. And you create your reality based on what you perceive. Like there's always two sides to the same coin. I can look at something and perceive it to be great, or I can look at something and perceive it to be bad. For example, if you get into an argument with your best friend, on the one side you can say, man, see, that's why I can't hang out with you anymore, because you're just blah, blah, blah. Or you can say, man, like, this shows me that I am a certain way, or it shows me that we could really, work on our relationship better, or something like that. But there's always two sides to everything, and based on your mind and how you perceive those situations is going to carry into how you experience your life. For example, a lot of people have a scarcity mindset, and they're always thinking that there's not enough money, or there's not enough time, or there's not enough food, or their house isn't big enough, or there's all this, like everything is like scarce. Then a lot of what you'll experience in life will be full of scarcity. But if you're like me and I don't have a scarcity mentality, I think that the universe is infinite and there is an abundant amount of everything, then I can experience an abundant amount of everything. There's an abundant amount of money and an abundant amount of food, which I really love, an abundant amount of time. Like there's always an abundance of everything in my life. There's an abundance of love because I don't come at it from a scarcity mentality, and I appreciate seeing it. And so when you make the intention to create what you see based on your thoughts, then you kind of experience life a little bit differently, if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, then let me know. I can make like a full-on video about that moving forward, but there's that. So that is my current shelfie. All the things that are happening right now, that I'm reading right now. And so I want you to share with me what you're reading. Remember, leaders are readers, and I think everyone should be reading at least something. And if you don't like reading, then listen to something. And when I say reading, I mean something that's going to, enhance your mind, enhance creativity. It doesn't have to be, self-development or like learning things like this. It can be, a fiction novel, a love story, a sci-fi, a fantasy, whatever. I just think that we can create really cool space in our brains to expand, and reading allows us to do that. So, thanks so much for watching this video. I will see you guys very soon. Take care.